Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Alzheimer's disease is not a normal part of aging. It's actually a progressive, degenerative, and fatal disease that attacks brain cells, impairing memory, thinking, and behavior. There's no known cause or cure, but there are organizations right here in our community that are dedicated to changing that. Gina Harris is the director of the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute Milwaukee Outreach Program, and Andrea Garr is a dementia care specialist and researcher at the Milwaukee County Department on Aging. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. And right off the bat, Alzheimer's affects an estimated 4 million American adults each year, and 100,000 of them live right here in Wisconsin. So when we say that you have a very serious job on your hands, that's putting it lightly. So let's first talk about the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute and the Milwaukee Outreach Program.
Absolutely. So thanks again for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
And you're right, Alzheimer's disease is clearly impacting our entire state. And as you heard earlier, it has a significant impact in communities of color. And quite frankly, the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute was instrumental in developing a program specifically for African Americans here right in the heart of our city of Milwaukee. So our program was designed and developed out of the University of Madison, School of Medicine and Public Health, where our base home is in Madison. And what we do is outreach and education to the community around Alzheimer's disease. But we also go further in that we have a component of outreach specialists that go into the homes to actually work with families who need a diagnosis. And so we have connected those families to our diagnostic memory clinic. We have 44 across the state, having 5 in Milwaukee, 2 ethnic specific ones. And so we work with our African American families to get them a diagnosis because we know that's the first step in actually having intervention. And then we also do, with our programs and services, we have community workshops and so on and so forth. And we have a research arm that we can talk about a little bit more. But our research is really committed to helping African Americans become more involved because we know family history is important. And so the Wisconsin Registry for Alzheimer's Prevention actually works with adult children whose parents have Alzheimer's disease. And we are hoping that we can continue to grow our numbers of African Americans involved in that. And then the other piece of our work is really embedded in partnerships and collaboration. What we know is that we have a lane. We can help families get a diagnosis, and we can also work with caregivers, but we need our partners to do caregiver workshops, caregiver support, because a caregiver is equally as important as that person getting a diagnosis.
Yeah, and one of your partners is the Milwaukee County Department on Aging. And so, Andrea, if you can fill us in on a few of the things that you offer to the community on a daily.
Okay. At the Milwaukee County Department on Aging, we have a full range of services. And so, in general, we have information and assistance for whatever the need is. There are people that you can speak to and they'll get you pointed in the right direction. We offer transportation services, meal programs, both congregate meals as well as home delivered meals, adult daycare and senior centers. And again, the county doesn't provide all of these services directly, but they contract with agencies in the county to provide these services. Legal and benefits counseling, neighborhood services, respite care. So there's a full range of services for the older adult population. Okay. There are 2 of us, however, that work specifically with families impacted by dementia. And my emphasis is in communities of color, particularly with the African American community. So my title is Dementia Care Specialist, but what that means is doing outreach to families, particularly African American families in my case, to bring direct support, resource referral, education, whatever it takes in order to support that family caregiver so that they can continue to do the important work of caring for their loved one at home for as long as possible.
Yeah, and we know that that is just not an easy job at all, and it really sometimes takes a toll on the caregivers in trying to maybe sometimes keep their household going and also take care of the individual who may not remember a lot of the things that they used to. And I think it's important to quickly just talk about some of the common warning signs, because when people can't remember maybe like just something minor, they go, oh my gosh, I hope this, and you're like, no, you're talking about dementia is kind of like a thing where you think your washer is the stove, right?
Sure.
Yes. Memory, of course, is one of the most common things that are affected. But dementia will also affect your ability to make good judgment, to understand time and place. So sometimes there's confusion with dates. It will prevent you from being able to do common tasks. You don't remember how to make a dish that you've prepared, on a daily or weekly basis for years. It is a set of symptoms that is severe enough that it really impacts your ability to carry out your daily routine, your daily activities.
And like I said, just thinking, forgetting that your washer is for clothes and you think it's for something else. Those are true signs.
Right, and so when we describe dementia to the community, what we talk about is the umbrella. So dementia is actually a syndrome, right? And actually it's found inside the DSM-5. And it's an umbrella, and underneath that are the types of dementia. So as Andrea has already described, it's a syndrome. But what we know is that it has to have cognitive impact, and it has to cause cognitive decline. And in order for it to be diagnosed as dementia, it has to have that other component of disruption of daily function. And that's important for the community to know. To your question around, well, I lost my keys. Well, it's not so much as losing your keys as much as not knowing what your keys are for.
Right.
Or you've been going to the same church for 30 years, and now you don't even know your church name, or you don't know how to get to that church. And folks have gotten lost in their cars, and those are really important things that we have to start taking note of from the community perspective. I just want to also say is that sometimes we see symptoms and we brush them under the carpet, right? So we go to our parents' home and they are very tidy and very neat, and all of a sudden they're not cleaning like they used to, and or we find that they are no longer, their self-care is not happening, or they're agitated, right? So they hide things, they have stickets all over the wall. Those are things that we certainly want to look out for.
All right, and I wanted to, before we run out of time, talk about the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute Breaking the Silence 2016, Facing Dementia in Communities of Color. It Takes a Village. This is something that you do every year, and it's coming up April 21st and April 23rd.
Absolutely. So we started 2014 with jamming on board, with everyone on board with us. And what we've done is we've wanted to really have a dialogue in the community. It's a public awareness event, and quite frankly, the community is invited to come at no cost. And to your point, it's about really talking about dementia and its impact on communities of color. And so yes, Thursday, April 21st in Milwaukee at the Italian Community Center, as well as Saturday, April 23rd in Racine. So we're going to serve we hope to get 400 or 500 folks in the room to have an interesting dialogue around how Alzheimer's disease and dementia continues to impact our community, and it takes a village, all of us, to actually help with that.
Very true. And we had Crocker Stevenson from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel here, and you ladies were included in that article. Talk about the significance of the article and why it's so important for minorities to be a part of research when it comes to this.
Sure. We've all heard the statistics. Unfortunately, like so many other health disparities, African Americans are impacted by dementia twice as often as whites. Often the onset for African Americans is at a much younger age as well. At the same time, for a variety of reasons, we are much less likely to access services, whether healthcare services or social services, in order to help us get through this process, this disease journey. So you have a number of patients and caregivers that are just out there suffering in silence. The program that I bring to the community, as Gina kind of said, is intended to break that cycle of silence. We have several goals. One of them, of course, is to bring down the stigma that is driving the silence around dementia. Bring awareness to the community what dementia is and isn't. Bring awareness of the supportive services that are available to help. And one of those services is the program that I operate, which is the United Family Caregivers Program. It's a specific intervention for African American caregivers who are caring for a loved one at home. It provides, again, the counseling, the coaching, the resource referral, The goal of the program is to support that caregiver so that they can provide care for their loved one without getting stressed out, burned out, and ultimately having their own physical health affected adversely.
Yes, and I should mention the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute is actually recruiting African Americans and English-speaking Latinos who have at least one parent who developed Alzheimer's disease to participate in its RAP study. So they can go to your website or call 414-219-5159 for more information on that, and we'll put the website right there on the screen.
And if I can take just a second, also, if you are a family caregiver, or if if you know someone who may need help in the area of dementia, the phone number for the Milwaukee County Department on Aging is 414-289-6014.
I thank you, ladies, for stopping by. Great information you've shared with us, and we'll have to have you back. Gina Green-Harris is the director of the Wisconsin Alzheimer's Institute Milwaukee Outreach Program, and Andrea Garr is a dementia care specialist and researcher at the Milwaukee County Department on Aging. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join us again next week as we take another look at Our Issues Milwaukee. Have a great day.